So we're going to talk about all different kinds of aspects of gender throughout the semester, but we're going to start with very general information about the way that gender works. And I'm going to share my favorite gender theory with you, which, come on now, right? Only the coolest people have a favorite gender theory, but I do. So I will be sharing it with you in a couple minutes. But first, a quick question for you. Okay, these six adorable babies. That baby with the striped background in the upper left, boy or girl? And the baby with the cute curly hair in the yellow background. What would you say? Boy or girl? The light pink background with their hands up by their head. The little baby with their mouth open on the lower left-hand side. The two front teeth coming in the middle. And then, oh my goodness gracious, those cheeks on the baby on the right-hand side, lower right-hand side. Boy or girl, boy or girl. When I ask this in an on-campus classroom, everybody like shouts out with like definitive, no denying, like boy, girl, like how did you know? And they're like, oh, because what I did was I Googled gender neutral baby faces and picked six really, really cute babies. So I do this because, like, when do these babies figure out the implications of biological sex and or gender, right? If they have older siblings, it might be fairly early on. Maybe in some ways, like the real weight of it comes in like when they start into like pre-K and kindergarten. Not to say that they wouldn't know, their gender identity or their biological sex at that point. They wouldn't be hearing that they're a boy or girl, that type of thing. But like the kind of, I don't know, societal power and division in like simple ways of like that kind of infiltrate everything that we deal with. Maybe they wouldn't get to really experience it entirely until school. But kind of thinking, when do we learn? Okay, look at that question again. Can you see that something's a little bit problematic about it? What's a kind of more respectful, inclusive way? Because do you see one word in particular? You're like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about it. If we say it, that's like a thing, right? If we use it when we take away like pronouns he or she, then we're kind of acting like we've taken away humanity. So a different way to say it, simple, right? Are they a boy or a girl? But again, like really, really think about, when does the implications of gender set in our lives? So I mentioned biological sex. Let's look at a definition real quick about that. In sociology, the like way that we conceptualize biological sex is about the labels. It's the application of socially agreed upon biological criteria. We're not necessarily studying the body. We're not studying chromosomes. We're not studying, secondary sexual characteristics or anything else, but we're studying the labels of these body characteristics equal the label of male. These body characteristics equal the label of female. Then, as the book will talk about too, we have, I believe it's upwards of 2% of our population are individuals who are intersex. And we don't necessarily discuss that or have a very nuanced or respectful understanding of that. But again, when we talk about biological sex in sociology, we're kind of looking at the socialized labeling of it. Okay, I promised you, and I know you've been anxiously waiting. This is my favorite gender theory. It's West and Zimmerman, and it comes in four parts. The first part, three parts are really short. The last one's just a little bit longer. So gender is routine, and it's very methodical. I am a person, even though I'm like old and frumpy, I exercise every day. I think it's like anxiety management and habit and just feels good, and I'd recommend it. And then because I'm a sweaty mess, hop in the shower. You saw in my welcome video, if you haven't watched it, you can go be like, what does this lady look like? She has frizzy curly hair, but she like really like I have like three different kinds of shampoo. I act like a chemist in the shower. Like today I will, as if any of it makes a difference. I don't wear makeup. I never really do, but I do fill in my eyebrows, and I occasionally forget to fill in my eyebrows when I go to school, and that's cool, especially now because they're getting kind of gray like my hair. So it's a whole thing. The reason I'm telling you about this, because you're like, I don't care, is because I'm walking you through like the fact that my gender performance is routine and it's methodical. Methodical means I'm thinking about it. It means, oh, look at this new shampoo. Maybe it'll solve all of my frizzy curly hair problems. Like we're thinking about our gender performance all the time. And we accomplish it every single day as a person who is female bodied and feminine, I accomplish femininity and people buy it, right? They see me and they see femininity. And so that idea of we accomplish gender every single day. Then the last thing is it's managing behavior in light of normative ideas for one sex category. See, I told you the fourth one was a little bit longer. We're going to talk about norms in a couple of weeks, but norms are kind of the rules and regulations of our society that you kind of get alienated or included based upon the way that you follow them. And as our textbook authors are going to tell you shortly, I'm kind of giving you a preview, like one of the biggest kind of gender rules is that you have to participate in some kind of gender identity. But that, like, what do I have to do as a person who identifies as feminine to fit in as a feminine person? That's what we're saying by managing my behavior in light of normative ideas for one sex category. Okay. How many of you have been to a gender reveal party? We know, and it's a misnomer, right? Because a ultrasound has identified genitals, so it's actually like a biological sex party, but that's pretty awkward. So like thinking about that idea, the reason I'm showing you this is to kind of show you the power of the word binary. Maybe some of you are like, oh yeah, binary, gender binary. But in case you're like, wait, what? A little bit, you're gonna see kind of the power of the gender binary, and then we'll look at a couple more definitions. So that idea of getting together to celebrate and announce, it's a boy, it's a girl, cutting into a cake and things like that. What I think is a really stark example of like the gender binary is actually the invitations to these parties that the pictures I showed you before were from Pinterest. Everything right here is going to be from Etsy. Like these were invitations, digital invitations that you can buy. So tutus or ties, quarterback or cheerleader, boots or bows, cupcake or stud muffin, oars or lace, rifles or ruffles, guns or glitter, pistols or pearls. Apparently there's a lot of weaponry in the gender reveal baby invitation market. But I guess we have to kind of remember too, like the geographic differences in a country as large and diverse as the United States, right? Um, Maybe something that is not necessarily as much of a focus for many of us, not all of us here in Southern California. Maybe it's more of a cultural norm in other places. So, super baby, boy or girl, stashes or lashes, what the buck is it though? That's another, like there was a lot of hunting ones actually, surprisingly. Bows or burnouts, heels or wheels, Luke or Leia, Beauty or the Beast, free throws or pink bows, putter or pearls. I kind of just think that one's a little creepy anyway, but whatever. I'm not going to judge. Um, and again, it continues on. Guns or glitter. A couple more. Actually, like seven more. These are a little bit not as binary-ish, right? Kind of including both. For some reason, I think that one's really cute. I think that one's pretty awkward. I think this one that I just showed, the Huggies and Chuggies, is interesting. It's basically like the male equivalent of a baby shower. Because think about who celebrates babies, who celebrates like bridal showers and all that. That's not necessarily nowadays. Lots of gender reveals are like everybody in a family, possibly baby showers. But like this is kind of like the masculine version. Like, hey, let's go drink beer and can you bring me some diapers? So, and then I thought this was another interesting example of again the diverse experiences and cultural norms across the United States because I myself would have never realized that there would be a market on Etsy for a gender reveal and crawfish boil invitation, but apparently there is. So we talked about binaries. Binaries in general, no matter what, is two things that are total opposite. And so when we have a gender binary, we're saying there's only two types of people. There are female people who are feminine, or rather, there are feminine people who are female bodied. I transpose those. Or there are male bodied people who are masculine. I was saying I fit into the binary, right? And that is called cisgender. When you fit into the binary, it's cisgender identity. And I, like many of us, not all of us, I have a fair amount of societal privilege based upon that fitting into the binary neatly. There's many, many things that I don't have to necessarily worry about in society that other people who don't fit into the binary, who are non-binary, who are transgender, it's worries and concerns and fears that are completely justified and completely accurate and completely something that most people who fit into the binary don't understand because they haven't experienced it firsthand. We will talk about some of those things as we go forward in the class, but that idea of a binary. Continuing on with gender theory because it's so cool, right? But it is cool because it's something that you do all the time. And now in this class, we get to kind of question and figure out what works, what doesn't, what do we like? Where's the line between something that we enjoy doing? We're going to be talking about that a lot next week with beauty, like something we enjoy doing or like something we think we have to do. So, another kind of seminal work in gender theory is by Judith Butler. And Butler says that gender, as you can see, is active. It's a performance, and we're constantly doing it. That is reiterated within our textbook. And that it's not that we are constantly making decisions, but that we're being shaped by gendered forces in our society and what we see and what we're expected to do in relation to gender. And so, like I said, seminal work means like some of the earliest work in the study of like gender theory and everything else. And the way, because this was early on, the way that Butler demonstrated their theory is by something that's not necessarily per se mainstream, but it's pretty widely known: drag. There's drag queens and there's drag kings, right? And what Butler is saying is, I mean, drag queens and drag kings are performing gender. And if gender's being performed, then gender can be performed. And technically, then we're all performing gender. I believe it is RuPaul that has a quote that says, "We're all born naked. The rest is drag." So, again, thinking about the way that this binary works, the way that we operate within it, the routines that we have, how thoughtful we are about them if we really step back and look, right? The way that we fit into like the rules and regulations that we're constantly being, I guess, changing and negotiated in different ways and, impacted and all these different things in relation to gender. What we're going to be working on in a world of binaries is a continuum. And a continuum means that there's little modes of difference in between, like these two stark opposites. You're going to be working on a gender continuum yourself. There's going to be femininity on one edge, there's going to be masculinity on the other. And then what happens in the middle? Right? What happens here and there? So as you can see on the screen, it's a way to deconstruct binaries. As I said, you're going to be working on this. This is the example I share with you. Right in the very middle is all of kind of the everybody, regardless of gender things. But it's interesting because I will tell you, think about it. Jeans, yeah, everybody wears jeans, but jeans end up gendered. Glasses, yeah, everybody wears glasses, but I don't know, the gingham, like black and white checkered glasses that I got for this year. Seriously, I did. You can judge me, whatever. I love them. I don't think they're very masculine though. So it's funny how things can be both like androgynous, gender neutral, but at the same time gendered. My last example for you that I did not write down on the sheet. And when you're looking at the sheet, like the expectation is you're digging in way, way more. I have just given you the very beginnings of like starting to map out these things. The last one, tattoos, right? Everybody has tattoos, but placement and content. So a butterfly on your shoulder, pretty feminine. So thinking about, again, the way that gender operates. If you are going to put, I don't know, I put barbecuing and cooking here. See how I kind of put it towards the middle, but I still kind of skewed it a little bit gendered? High heels, does it, I wrote this a few years ago. Do high heels go a little bit towards more the middle now? I don't know. You know what I mean? Um, where would you put salad? Where would you put, I don't know, whiskey or something? The way I said whiskey was like, I don't know. Why would you want to? But like, where would you put whiskey? Where would you put a Ford F-150 truck? Where would you put? I'm trying to think of like things off the top of my head. Chapstick. Do you put it in the middle? Do you skew just ever so slightly feminine? These are the things that I want you to kind of map out for yourself and think about. Like, kind of challenge yourself. What are foods? What are drinks? What are animals? What are sports? Like playing sports, watching sports, whatever it is. What are all these things? Where do you think they fit on a continuum? Is it a little bit feminine? Is it a lot feminine? Is it a little bit masculine? Is it a lot masculine? Is it right smack in the middle? I'm really, really excited to see what you come up with.